Hello friends, my name is Shambhavi Avasthi and I welcome you all to my channel Chemistry with Shambhavi. Here I will be discussing some interesting topics of chemistry with you. So first I have taken a topic that is really interesting and that I will be dealing in my first lecture, and this series will be known as IUPAC series. Here we will be discussing about IUPAC. Now, what is IUPAC? IUPAC stands for International Union for Pure and Applied Chemistry. Now, what is IUPAC? The International Congress for Chemistry has demanded that there is a need for a union, so that for the development of chemistry. Okay, so IUPAC was invented in 1919 by International Congress for Chemistry. It worked for the development of chemistry and new advancements that are to be taking place in chemistry. Now, in physics we learned that there was a need to define a unit that can measure or explain the unit for weight, mass, for light, for current. So we gave the SI units. Okay, so the SI unit for current will ampere. It means the SI unit will remain the same throughout the world. Likewise, IUPAC has given some nomenclature rules for the chemical compounds that will be same worldwide. Okay, so now we will be learning about those nomenclature rules, and I will be telling you what are the components that are present in an IUPAC nomenclature. So let's start, kids. Now, there are 5 components in IUPAC nomenclature. Now, what are those 5 components? First is primary prefix. Now, what is primary prefix? Primary prefix will be names like cyclo, spiro. So what are all these? Now, cyclo is a term that will be associated with the compounds that are cyclic in structure. Likewise, see here, this is a 6 carbon atom ring, and 6 means it will be hex. The bonding here is a sigma bond, so we will use ane, and since it is a cyclic structure, we will use the word cyclo. So it becomes cyclohexane. So these are the words cyclo, spiro. These are the words which will be included under primary prefix. Now, what are spiro? When 2 cyclic structures, here is a cyclic structure of 4 carbon atom. Okay, when it is attached with another cyclic structure, this is also 4 carbon atom, and both of them having a common carbon, they are attached to each other with a common center. Such compounds are called spiro compounds, and we use this prefix spiro in front of them. So I hope you have understood this. This is the primary prefix. Now let's move to the second component. Let's move to the second component. The second component is secondary prefix. Now, what is a secondary prefix? Now, secondary prefix will include the substituent that are present in the carbon chain. See, carbon chain, and here lies one fluorine. So this will be the secondary prefix. These are the substituents. This indicates the substituents that are present in the carbon-carbon chain. Okay, so now we'll read about some of the substituents that are commonly there. Alkyl groups. What are alkyl groups? See, carbon, it has 4 valency. Number of carbon is 1, so it will be meth. The bonding here is sigma bond, so we'll use ane. Now, when you will remove, these are hydrocarbons. What are hydrocarbons? Hydrocarbons are the compounds that are made up of carbon and hydrogen, and they also might have some atoms of oxygen or nitrogen or sulfur etc. attached with them. Okay, so it is a hydrocarbon, okay, that is known as methane. When we will remove one hydrogen from it, then this ane will go and it becomes methyl. It becomes methyl. So these are the alkyl groups. Likewise, we can make, suppose this is methyl, likewise we can remove one hydrogen from ethane, propane, and we can make ethyl, C2H5, propyl, C3H7. Okay. Now these are one of the substituents. These can be one of the substituents, alkyl groups. Now next can be alkoxy groups. Now you can heard the name oxy. From this we get to know that it must have something to do with oxygen. Okay, so the alkyl groups which are attached to oxygen are known as alkoxy groups. Like here, this is known as methoxy. Likewise, C2H5O, ethoxy. Understood? Now other substituents, this is the second substituent which you can get in a carbon chain. Other substituents are, suppose you have nitrogen oxide. These are the nitro groups. So this we will name as nitro. Okay. Now all types of halogens, all types of halides, chlorine, fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine, they are known as substituents. They will be called fluoro, chloro, bromo, ido. Okay, some other substituents are there that are azo groups. They are okay. So these are some of the substituents that you may get in a carbon-carbon chain. Now that will be ending your secondary prefix. Now let's move to the third component. The third component is root word. Suppose we have a carbon chain. So the root word says that when you are selecting any carbon chain as the root word, so you need to see that it should be the longest carbon-carbon chain. Okay, so let us take one example here. Now see, if you are seeing this chain, in this front chain, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 carbon atoms. But here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Here in this chain we have 6 carbon atoms. So this we will choose as the main chain. And since there are 6 carbon atoms, then the prefix will become hex. and since there are single bond here, so it will be ane. So the root word will be hexane. Now let's move to the next component. This will be root word. Okay. Now we are moving to the next component, fourth component, that is primary suffix. Now, what does a primary suffix indicate? The primary suffix indicate carbon-carbon type of carbon-carbon bonds. Okay. Now, primary suffix will tell you that what is the bonding between the carbon-carbon bond. If there is a single bond, then we will use the suffix as ane. If there is a double bond, then we will use the suffix ene. And if there is a triple bond, then we will use the suffix ine. So this is how it goes. So these are the primary suffix. It indicates the type of bonding between the carbon-carbon atom. Now let us move to the fifth and the last component. Fifth component is secondary suffix. Now, what is secondary suffix? Secondary suffix will tell you about the functional group. It indicates functional group attached to the carbon chain. Functional group attached to the carbon chain. Now, what is a functional group? Functional group is that group which, when get attached to a carbon chain, it will tell you the properties of that compound. It will tell you the properties of the compound. It will characterize the properties of that compound. So secondary suffix will indicate the functional group that will be attached to the carbon chain. Now functional group is the site where all the chemical reactions will take place. Okay. So this is all. Now let us read some of the functional group I'll tell you. The most common are alcohol, and it is indicated by OH, aldehyde, CHO, ketone, C double bond O. So these are some common functional group. Now we can do the naming also. Let's do the naming. Now see, how many carbon? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbon atoms, no substituent, but a functional group is attached here. Okay, so 5 for 5 we will write pent, and the bonding between the carbon-carbon atom is sigma bond. So we'll write ane. But here we are having here the hydroxyl group, that is the alcohol functional group. So I'll tell you one thing, when you are writing ane, then there is a rule that you need to remove this E before joining the suffix of the functional group. So it will be, this will be the first position. So 1 all. So the name will be pentane 1 all. So this is how we name the compounds having the functional group. Now we will move to the rules of IUPAC nomenclature. Rules of nomenclature. Okay, now first rule. The first rule we have already discussed in when we were discussing the word root. So it says that select longest carbon-carbon chain as root word or main chain. Okay, now this rule says that we have to select the longest carbon-carbon chain. Now see here. If you look here, this straight chain is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has 5 carbon atoms, but if you look at this chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It has 7 carbon atoms. So this will become our main chain. This will become our main chain. So this is the first rule of IUPAC nomenclature. Understood, children? Now, second rule. Second rule, it says that if two long chains of same number of carbon atoms present, then choose that as main chain which has more branches. Understood, children? The second rule says that suppose you are having two carbon-carbon chain and you are getting two longest chains with same number of carbon atoms. So how do we choose that which chain will become the main chain? So it says that whichever chain has more branching, it will become the main chain. Okay, so now we will do an example. Now see here, children. Look, if you count this chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It has 6 carbon atoms. Now look for this chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It also has 6 carbon atoms. Look for this chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It also has 6 carbon atoms. Now what you will do here? See. We'll see here, this straight chain when we are taking, it has 1 branch, 2 branch. If you are taking this one, this I'll do with different color chalks. Okay, suppose you are taking this chain. So how many branches? This is 1 branch, this is 2 branch. Now suppose you are taking this chain. Then how many branches are there? This whole will be a same branch. This will be a same branch. Okay. So, now the third one you are taking. If you are taking this chain as the main chain, so this is the first, this is the second, and this is the third. 3 chains we are getting here. So if you are taking this one, this chain, so you are getting 2 branches. One from here and one from here. So here you can either take this one, this first, or third one, first or third, any one you can take as main chain. Suppose you are taking this as main chain, then how to name this compound? This will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we have to take the, we won't do the counting from here. Okay, we won't do the counting from here. The reason being that the substituent we have to give the lower position. So we'll count from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be 3 ethyl 2 methyl hex, and see the type of bonding. The bonding between the carbon-carbon atoms is sigma bond. So we will write ane. So this is how you will be naming if there are more than one longer chain. Okay. Now next rule, we will move to the next rule. Third rule, lowest locant rule. Now what does this rule tells you? This rule says that if a substituent is present in a carbon-carbon chain, then numbering should be done in such a way that the substituent get the lowest position. So let us take one example. See here, if you are taking iodine, suppose. So if you are counting from here 1, 2, 3, 4. From here it is getting the fourth position, but from there it is getting the second position. So from where we'll do the counting? We'll do the counting from here. So how to name it? It will be 2-iodopentane. Understood, children? This is the third rule. Now the fourth rule is lowest sum rule. Now this lowest sum rule was given by IUPAC for any carbon chain having multiple substituents. Okay. Now we'll see some example for this rule. Suppose now see here, if you are taking a carbon chain 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not drawing the hydrogen, you can draw the hydrogen. Okay. You know how the valency are fulfilled. Okay. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 carbon atom. If you are doing the numbering from here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. But if you are doing the numbering from here, then it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So from upside, we are getting the substituent at the second and the third position. So let us write down 2 and 3. 2 plus 3, that will be 5. When you are doing the numbering from this side, you are getting the substituent at the fourth and the fifth position. 9. So this rule says that you need to do the numbering in such a way that the sum of the position where the substituents are found, it should be lower. So here we are getting 5, here you are getting 9. So this will be not correct. We will be doing the numbering from this side. Okay. So this you have understood. I hope you have understood this. Now next move to the fifth rule. Now let's move to the fifth rule. Now fifth rule, it is a modification of the fourth rule, and it is first point of difference. Now this rule says that if there are multiple substituents, then we will do the numbering from both the sides and then we will look for the first point where we are getting the difference between these positions, and wherever the position is lower, there that will be chosen. Okay, now see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now see here children, if you are doing the numbering from this side, that will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. And if you are doing the numbering from this side, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, first of all, write down from upside. It will be 2. The substituents are found at second, third position, and next is the fifth position. Okay. So, this is the position from upside if you are doing the numbering. If you are doing from this side, you are getting the substituent at third position, then you are getting the substituent at fifth position, and then you are getting the substituent at sixth position. Okay. Now see here, out of all these, first difference we are getting in these two digits. First difference, first point of difference in both these places, you are getting here in the first digit itself. Okay. This upstairs you are getting at the first substituent at second position, but if you are doing from here, you are getting the first at third position. So this is first point of difference, and this is the lower out of all, both of them. This is lower, so we will choose this one. Now if you apply the lowest sum rule here, that will also choose this one. See, if you add 3 plus 2, 5, 5 plus 5, 10. Now add here. 5 plus 6, 11. 11 plus 3, 14. So this is correct. So this is correct from both the rules. So we will do the numbering from this side. I hope you have understood. Now let's move to the sixth point. Sixth point says that you have to name, that the naming of substituent should be done alphabetically. Says that naming of the substituent should be done alphabetically. Okay. So this you need to keep in mind. So how to do this? Now children, from where you should start the numbering? See. Here, from here you are getting the first substituent at the third position, but from here you are getting the substituent for the first position. So you will write from here. Start from here. Okay. Now see here. This is ethyl. This is ethyl group. This is methyl group. And this is ido. Now, if you read ABCD, then you will see that E will come first, then after that I will come, and then last M will come. So, how you will write this? You will write as 1 ethyl, 4 ido, 3 methyl, and how many carbon atoms? 6 carbon atoms. How many carbon atoms? 6 carbon atoms. Hex. What is the bonding? What is the bonding? Sigma bond. So, ane. So this will be the naming. This is how you will name this compound. Now, seventh and the last rule. Seventh and the last rule. Seventh rule says that if two substituent tie in numbering, then numbering should be done alphabetically. Okay, children. So this rule says that if two substituents are present in a chain and both are tying on the position in the chain, then you should start the numbering from that side, whichever alphabet is coming first. Okay. Now see example. Five carbon chain. Now see, if you are starting the numbering from here, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you are starting the numbering from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now see here, both the substituent are getting the same position if you are counting from both the sides. Okay, iodo is getting the second position from here, and from here chlorine is getting the second position. But C comes before I. C comes before I. So you start the numbering from here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So the naming will be 2-chloro, 4-iodo, pentane. Pentane means 5 carbon pent, and the bonding is sigma bond. So it will be ane. Okay. So C is coming first. So you have taken one more example you want to take for this. Okay. Let's take another example. See children, if you are starting the numbering from here, then fluorine is getting the first position. Fluorine is getting the first position from here. If you are starting from here, then methyl is getting the first position. So both the substituents are tying on that position if you are numbering from either side of the chain. Okay. So where to start from numbering? We'll start the numbering from here, because F comes before M. F comes before M. So it will be 1-fluoro, 4-methyl. What is the number of carbon atom? 1, 2, 3, 4. But. What is the bonding between carbon-carbon? Sigma bond. So it will be ane. So this is how we are doing the nomenclature. This all are the rules for the nomenclature. Now let us do some examples. Let's take some examples. Some questions we'll do. This is the bond line structure. This is the bond line structure. Now, here multiple substituent. So what we will say? Either we'll take the lowest sum rule or the first point of difference. First point of difference is the upgraded one, so we will use that one. Okay. So first start the numbering from here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay. So where we are getting the substituents? and 6. These all we are getting from this side. If you are numbering from this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you are numbering from this side, then we are getting the substituent at the second position, third position and sixth position. Now see here children, if you are doing the numbering from here, you are getting the first at second position, from here also at the second position. But see the second digit. If you are starting from here, you are getting the second substituent at the fifth position, 5. But if you are starting from here, you are getting it at 3. So this is the first point of difference. This is the first point of difference, and the lower is this one. So you will number from here. You will number from here. Now let us use the rule, lowest sum rule here. Okay, now add up these. This will be 6 plus 5, 11, 11 plus 2, 13. Here it will be 6 plus 3, 9, 9 plus 2, 11. So both rules are applicable here. So the naming will be, what will be the naming? It will be 3-chloro, 6-iodo, 2-methyl, and how many carbon atoms? 7. How many carbon atoms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hept, and bonds are all sigma bonds. Bonds are all sigma bonds. So it will be ane. So it will be heptane. Okay. So this was the first example. Now let me take an example for the second rule which we have studied. Now look here. If you are taking this straight chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 carbon atoms. If you are taking this chain, how many branches for the straight chain? 1 and 2. If you are taking this chain, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If you are taking this chain, then only we are getting this one branch. So which chain you will take? We will take this one. Because here you are getting 1 and 2 branches. But if you are taking this one, see, if you are taking this one, then this whole will be the one branch. So we will take this branch, and the naming will become, we will start from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it will be 3-ethyl, 1-methyl, how many carbon atoms? 6. Hex. And what is the bonding here? Ane. So the bonding is ane. So it will be 3-ethyl, 1-methyl, hexane. Understood, children? Now let us take one example for our seventh. How many carbon atoms? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 carbon atoms. Now, if you start the numbering from here, 1, 2, 3. Third position, you are getting the substituent. If you are starting the numbering from here, 1, 2, 3. Again, you are getting the substituent at the third position. But see, this is chloro. This is methyl. C comes before M. So, we will start the numbering from here. So, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. How many carbon atoms? 8. Third position and sixth position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, third and sixth position. Now, you will write it down. The name 3-chloro, 6-methyl. How many carbon atoms? 8. Oct. And what is the bonding between the carbon-carbon atoms? Sigma bond. So, it will be ane. So, that's all for this class. I hope you have understood it. Please practice more questions yourself. If you have any doubts, please send it to me. Please subscribe my channel and bell icon you should press, please, so you will be getting the notification. Okay, thank you so much.